On the morning of June 13, 1996, the small town of Idaho Falls, Idaho, woke up to a nightmare. Angie Dodge, an ambitious and vibrant 18-year-old, failed to show up for work. Angie was known for her reliability, so when she didn't answer her phone, her coworkers and family immediately sensed something was wrong. Little did they know, Angie's absence was the beginning of a mystery that would haunt this quiet community for more than 2 decades. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chrissy, and I typically discuss things that are strange, mysterious, or creepy. If that interests you, then please subscribe or follow me. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, leave me a comment, or share this video with a friend. That really helps out a small channel like mine. Okay, now let's get back to today's story. Angie was the kind of person who lit up a room. Friends described her as charismatic, caring, and full of energy. She had recently graduated high school and was excited about her future. Angie dreamed of adventure and independence, and her friends often joked that she had the spirit of someone destined to conquer the world. But Angie's world came to an abrupt and horrifying end on that warm June night. After failing to reach her by phone, Angie's mother sent a family friend to check on her. When they entered Angie's small apartment, they were greeted with a scene straight out of a nightmare. Angie had been brutally murdered. She was found lying on her bedroom floor, partially clothed, with multiple stab wounds. The scene was chaotic and violent, suggesting an attack fueled by rage. Police quickly identified signs of sexual assault and collected DNA evidence from the scene. The discovery shocked Idaho Falls, a town not accustomed to violent crime. The police immediately launched a full-scale investigation. They began questioning Angie's friends and acquaintances, desperate to find answers. One name that came up repeatedly was Christopher Tapp. Chris, a 20-year-old acquaintance of Angie, was known to hang out with a rough crowd and had a reputation for partying. Although there was no physical evidence tying Chris to the crime, police zeroed in on him. Over the course of hours, then days, of intense interrogation, Chris began to crack. Detectives used aggressive techniques, including threats of the death penalty, to pressure him into talking. Eventually, Chris confessed, but his story was inconsistent, riddled with inaccuracies, and often contradicted the physical evidence. Despite these red flags, prosecutors relied heavily on his confession. In 1998, Chris Tapp was convicted of Angie's murder and sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. For many in Idaho Falls, it seemed like justice had been served. But Angie's mother, Carol Dodge, wasn't convinced. Carol Dodge was a force to be reckoned with. In the years following Chris's conviction, she dove headfirst into the case. She pored over police reports, examined evidence, and even contacted experts to help her understand the science behind DNA testing. What she found left her deeply troubled. The DNA collected from Angie's body didn't match Chris Tapp or anyone else who had been questioned in the case. Carol began to wonder if the real killer was still out there. She started advocating for Chris's release, even though it meant reopening old wounds. In 2017, after serving 20 years in prison, Chris Tapp was exonerated. Advances in DNA technology had proven what Carol and others had long suspected. Chris was innocent. But while his exoneration was a victory, it wasn't the end of the story. The DNA evidence still pointed to an unknown suspect, and Angie's real killer was still out there. Enter C.C. Moore, a genetic genealogist whose work had already solved several cold cases. Using the DNA from Angie's crime scene, Moore traced the sample through public genealogy databases, identifying familial connections. The process was painstaking, but eventually it led to a name: Brian Drips. Brian Drips had lived near Angie at the time of her murder, but he'd never been a suspect. By 2019, he was living quietly in Caldwell, Idaho. When police knocked on his door, Drips seemed calm and cooperative. Investigators obtained a cigarette butt he had discarded, and DNA testing confirmed it was a match. When confronted with the evidence, Drips confessed. He admitted to breaking into Angie's apartment, intending to rape her. He said he never meant to kill her, but his actions that night spiraled out of control. It was a chilling confession, one that finally answered the question that had haunted Angie's family for over 2 decades. In 2021, Brian Drips was sentenced to life in prison. For Carol Dodge, it was a bittersweet moment. While justice had finally been served, nothing could bring Angie back. But this story takes another tragic turn. Christopher Tapp, the man wrongfully convicted of Angie Dodge's murder and who spent 20 years behind bars for a crime he did not commit, recently made headlines again, this time as a victim of a possible homicide. On October 29, 2024, Tapp, now 47 years old, was found with severe head injuries at a hotel on the 3000 block of South Las Vegas Boulevard. He was rushed to a Nevada hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries on November 5th. Initially described as an accident, the circumstances surrounding Tapp's death quickly raised questions. By November 22nd, the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department announced that their homicide section had launched an investigation into what they are now calling a suspicious death. For Christopher Tapp, justice had already been a long and harrowing journey. Exonerated in 2017 after new DNA evidence led to the real killer, Tapp spent the last 7 years advocating for others wrongfully convicted, using his experience to bring hope to those facing similar injustices. His untimely death, now being investigated as a possible homicide, has left a community grieving for a man who fought so hard to reclaim his life and help others. The investigation into Tapp's death is ongoing, and his story serves as a somber reminder of how deeply one wrongful conviction can ripple across a lifetime. Angie Dodge's story is one of resilience, heartbreak, and the relentless pursuit of truth. It's a reminder of how easily justice can go astray, and how it often takes the courage of ordinary people, like Carol Dodge and genetic genealogists, to set it right. And for the small town of Idaho Falls, Angie's memory will never fade. Her story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the hope that, no matter how cold a case may seem, the truth has a way of coming to light. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more true crime videos like this one and other mysterious content. Until next time, please stay safe out there, and as always, stay curious.